What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. I hope you're all doing absolutely fabulous on the fake Friday that is Thursday. Is it Thursday today? I think it is Thursday today. It's Thursday. It's the 11th of the 1st, a quarter of the way through January, or a third of the way, if you will. Almost there. But I hope you're all good. I hope you're all tuned in. I hope you all got your little typing fingers ready, because we have got a big story around Jadon Sancho, an article that has been released from The Athletic, which I really want to get into and talk about, and so many different sides that are interesting. So I want to talk about that. As you can see on the screen as well, Alejandro Garnacho has been voted for Player of the Month. We'll discuss his performances over the course of December and that fantastic overhead kick that he scored. Ten Hag is apparently keeping tabs on Brian Brobber. We've heard that word before, keeping tabs. We're monitoring. We're outside the gaff. We're looking at the laptops. We're checking the history. All that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about that. And apparently Anthony Martial's agent is in Turkey. Or is he? No one knows at this point. It's all over the gaff. So plenty to discuss. Plenty of opinions to chuck in, whether you're a United fan, rival fan, wherever it is you're watching, after work, in the bath, wherever you are on this planet right now. Let's talk about Jadon Sancho, and that's the first topic that I'm going to kick off with. So, I've broke it down into sections, in terms of kind of which bits I'd like to discuss, and then give me your what do you call it, on the toilet. Jack's on the toilet, so we could enjoy your poo, mate. Don't wipe too hard and don't wipe too much. That is the advice I would offer. So, talking about shit, Jadon Sancho, I'm joking. Sancho's adaptation was not helped by uncertainty over what happened, over what his best position was. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer switched systems and moved to a back three in attempt to arrest, I don't know why it says arrest Man United's slide, Sancho was even deployed as a right wing back in some training sessions. First and foremost, Jadon Sancho was a right wing back. Nah, would not work. I mean, if that quote alone, or that little bit of information alone, doesn't go to show you that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ain't the guy when it comes to coaching Manchester United. I don't know who looks at Jadon Sancho and goes, you know what, I reckon he'd be a decent wing back. Do you know what I mean? Never on the planet of history of football, of galaxies that's ever existed, could you play Jadon Sancho as a right wing back. I mean, just whatever lane you want to go down with that discussion, there's an answer for it, I'm telling you. So he's definitely not that kind of winger like Jack's alluding to there. Anyway, my point is, I think, there seems to be, in his defence, so I'll talk about the positives first, in terms of for him. In his defence, I think there was a lot of players under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who lacked that bit of coaching. If you're a top talent, you just come over from Dortmund, and Ole's going, Jadon, do you fancy playing, Rashi's going to start on left. Do you fancy playing as a wing back? He's going to be like, mate, do you know my stats last year? Do you know I had 18 goals and 16 assists, and you're trying to play me at wing back? Bro, what are you on? What are you smoking? So I think in that sense, like, he did lack a form of coaching, at the serious kind of. I think he needs someone who's stern, but someone who's, tactically the very best, Sancho. Whether Ten Hag is that guy or not, his tactics have been questionable this season, but I just think he needs a firm figure, and he needs someone expert tactics to get the best. Just my opinion. And at the time as well, when we signed Jadon, we needed a right winger. We've been crying out for a right winger for ages. I mean, we used Mata on the right for so long. We literally shoehorned Chelsea's best player on the right-hand side. And before that, it was Antonio Valencia. We've had no luck since Ronaldo's left, really. In reality, someone give me one name, apart from Garnacho, maybe against Aston Villa, which I'll discuss shortly, who's been good. Give me one name who's been fantastic on that right-hand side since Ronaldo left. People will say Valencia, and people will talk about other players, and that's absolutely fine. But I'm talking like top level. Do you know what I mean? We've lacked it for so long. And Jadon Sancho, for me, when he signed and when we chased him we spent fucking about 15 months chasing the guy. The fact that he's gone back to Dortmund on loan now and we're paying some of his wages is just like, when anyone ever says anything to you, just describe United to me at the moment. What are they? I'd say, look at that Jadon Sancho deal, and that is what we do. That is what we do. It's embarrassing the fact he's gone back on loan there at the moment. And I think the scouting was all over the gaff, mate. Like, when they're talking about, we need a right-sided player, it was like, okay, well, Jadon played both at Dortmund on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Equal amount of games, I think, roughly. So he's comfortable on both. Now you hear things that when he's at United, they're all saying, oh, well, he'd prefer to play on the left. But you're like, well, you got Garnacho and Rashford there, so where's he going to get game time? Then Erik ten Hag tried him as a 10. Looked all right. I think he came on against Leicester as a 10, looked half decent. And then just like after that, we've never seen him. And then pre-season, he looks like probably our best player. Looked quite fit in terms of running, not facial features. I mean, some people might think he's fit. I don't know, but it's been a bizarre kind of saga with Jadon, and there's more on this as well. So, during a media briefing at the warm weather camp in Spain, Ten Hag referenced Jadon Sancho's need to work on a combination of physical but also mental issues, a revelation which did not sit well with some at Old Trafford. Ten Hag did not have permission from the player or his representative to discuss the matter. Ten Hag felt his comments were supportive of the player, while United believed... Sorry, I paused on TikTok there. I'll read that last bit out. So, during a media briefing, apologies for repeating it, at that warm weather camp in Spain, Ten Hag referenced Jadon Sancho's need to work on a combination of physical but also mental issues, a revelation which did not sit well with someone at Old Trafford. Ten Hag did not have permission from the player or his representative to discuss the matter. Ten Hag felt his comments were supportive of the player, while United believed that to offer no reason for his absence would have fueled speculation. I don't get why players are so flaky in this situation. I think it's kind of like a fucking, like a mates rates kind of, oh, leave him alone, he's my boy. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me at all. Am I weird for thinking that? Like, is that strange for thinking that's a little bit flaky? Because if he's come out and said, right, so the actual quote's there, a combination of physical but also mental issues. He's obviously not saying he's got, he's schizophrenic or anything like that. He's just saying maybe struggles to focus a little bit. And if you look at his past, he has had these issues since he's been a kid in football. So he's not lying. Ten Hag has tried numerous different things on different occasions to try to get the absolute best out of him. And I felt that thing after the Arsenal game, I think it was, when he said he weren't training proper and these kind of things. Maybe it isn't all true. Maybe there's an element to it where it's like, well, Sancho's questioning things about Antony. Why are you starting Antony all the time and you're not giving me any opportunities? Maybe there was a bit of politics behind that. The fact that we paid 85 million quid for Antony, and he felt like he had to keep playing him to try to get something out of him to justify the decision. I don't know. Maybe there is bits behind that, but I don't know. I have no issues with Ten Hag calling him out on that. Absolutely none whatsoever. Jadon Sancho's attendance at individual training sessions after being moved away from the first team squad have been described as way below 100% by some at United. Sancho's absences have been put down to illness, with the club's doctor kept informed on each occasion. Sancho's camp denies he has missed more than a couple of sessions and says that in each case it was because he was unwell. If you go back and look at how many illnesses Jadon Sancho has had for the past, whilst he's been at United, I think they need to check his immune system before they do anything. He's had more illnesses than me near Christmas, and I'm always ill every single Christmas. Like, for me, there's something dodgy going on there. There is something dodgy. Look at his record everywhere he has been. Even back to the Watford days, coaches were questioning him, saying, well, he didn't really enjoy it if it was a certain way. He didn't really, one second. Yeah, he didn't really enjoy it if the training sessions didn't go a certain way. Sometimes he doesn't turn up on time. Senior players have to drag him to make sure he's turning up for training sessions. And this was at Watford. He had a clash with Pep when he was at City, which is why he ended up leaving and going to Dortmund. When he was at Dortmund, he had issues. There was managers and coaches saying, sometimes he'd be a little bit late for training. When Matic was talking about fines that were given out, when he was at the club, they had to start introducing fines because players like Pogba and Sancho weren't turning up, or they was turning up late. Again, England manager Gareth Southgate won't take him on because he's mentioned issues with discipline and stuff. And then it happens at United. So forgive me if you're thinking that this, it's not a coincidence. It's in his DNA to do that. I'm not saying he's not a talented player. I'm not saying he won't go to Dortmund now and kill it because he'll want to prove a point. But he is not the answer. He's not the answer. If he has those traits as a player, maybe he'll have flashes upon a brilliance. He was unbelievable at Dortmund, but to make it at the very, very top, you can't have those characteristics, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think his record's a little bit dodgy. And as soon as I heard about it, you know, as soon as this stuff was going off on social media, that he had, you know, he'd gone mad on Twitter. He put something out defending himself. He has absolutely every single right to defend himself. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But then, like, the stubbornness in it. And at a time as well, when we needed a right winger, we needed a guy on that side because Anthony had them issues ongoing. Obviously, Greenwood foot off to Getafe. Ahmad was injured. Pellistri was neither here or there. So if you wanted your opportunity, it was right there. It was literally right there. And if you just sucked up your stubbornness, even apologise, even if you don't mean it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't mean it, just apologise. Get your spot back. And if you want to make your move after you've done well, then you go. Do you know what I'm saying? Right, let's read some comments then. Sancho feels more himself than he does the badge. I think that's what a point that is. Unbelievable. Who said that? Tom Levisler. Belting point that. Need a Cavani type signing to help bring on Højlund. We was discussing Cavani last night on the show. Me, Sam, and Chivy did say in that first season when he came in, that kind of that attitude. That's what I'm talking about. You want a success at the very top. Cavani's attitude, the way he applies himself. That they're the type of professionals you want in the dressing room. If you're going to war, you don't want to play like Jadon Sancho. I'm sorry, but you don't. Has Arteta been sacked? Not to my knowledge. Feel sorry for Sancho. He should have gone elsewhere. Rotten club. It's your opinion. If Ten Hag tries to buy Brobby, he should be sacked immediately. I'm going to talk about Brian Brobby very shortly. Attitude as Latan. Ability of Shrewsbury Hall. Another great comment there. Let's hope he doesn't come back. I think a lot of people... It's Ronnie Pickering. Who? Do you know who I am? Ronnie Pickering. Ronnie Pickering's in the chat. Big up to Ronnie. So, yeah, I think we're all kind of... Well, a lot of us are in agreement about that Sancho situation. Right, I need to pull up my YouTube. Can I get my YouTube chat? Because I don't want to neglect the people. You know what I'm saying? So, can I put it out? No? I don't know where it is. You know what? You know what I'll do? I'll just pull it up on Chrome. That's what I'll do. Get YouTube. Oh no, I don't want live streaming. Sorry, YouTube gang. I'm not neglecting you. I'm just, yeah, where we at? For some, I mean, OBS is just like, yeah, nah, I'm not going to fucking thingy that. Do you know what I mean? Right, I've got the chat up. So, bear with me. We are going to talk about Garnacho next. We're going to talk about Anthony Martial's agent in Turkey, apparently. And a few other bits as well. So, what's going on? Where the fuck's the chat, man? Live chat. There we go. Have we got the live chat? We have. Yes. I knew Chivy would be in the chat about this Sancho thing. It's DJ Superfly saying he's been pampered. That's the issue. Chivy saying the fact that the Sancho issue divided the players speaks volumes. There's a lot going on that we don't know, and that's why I'm skeptical about this whole thing. Ed Barrett saying I ran out of the room slagging off Jadon. So in short, I hope we get a decent price in the summer. Like I said, I tried defending his corner a little bit with certain situations. I understand you can't get the whole context of the story. Just from reports, there may be things going on, but I'm just saying when someone has a history like that, I tend to, lean towards the manager, just for me personally. Right, sticking with the theme of wingers anyway, because we've been talking about Jadon Sancho for about 15 minutes. I want to talk about Garnacho winning Player of the Month for December. Obviously, the standout performance now is, of course, the game against Aston Villa. Thought that is his best game in a United shirt. I'm talking obviously about senior games. He's had some fantastic games at youth level. He had that run, in the FA Youth Cup where he was just amazing in quite a lot of the games and scoring goals consistently. So I'm not doubting that. But in a senior shirt, I think his performance against Aston Villa was his best. He was unbelievable, and he's starting to get better and better now. I know the Everton goal, the overhead kick, was the end of November, but, it's close to December, and you can kind of include it in it a little bit. Only top players score goals like that. Do you know what I mean? You think about overhead kicks, who comes to your head instantly? Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, Di Canio, these kind of guys, these bicycle kicks and stuff. Like, you have to have a certain presence, star around you. I'm not saying people haven't scored overhead kicks before, but I mean, they do it more like donkeys when a centre-back does it. So, the technique to do that and execute it in the Premier League. Unbelievable. Really starting to flourish this season. And he's made that spot his own. There was questions last season where a lot of people were saying, Rashford needs to be dropped. He should start Garnacho on a regular basis. And a few of us on the channel were saying, I'm not sure if he's ready for starts yet. I remember he had a start against someone in Europe. I can't remember who it was. And we was all saying, yeah, maybe he's not ready yet. Maybe he just needs to impact sub 20 minutes, 30 minutes, take your opportunities, and then we move from there. Excuse me. But now he's being consistent. I know output wise, it's been a bit of a struggle for all of our attackers, Højlund, Antony, and Garnacho included. But he's started to rise above that a little bit. A couple of goals against Aston Villa, a couple of assists. Obviously, the goal against Everton. Like, he's starting to increase his volume. And I did a video on the members section on our channel called Ronaldo versus Garnacho. Obviously, it wasn't the case of Ronaldo is very best versus Garnacho now. I just meant it as a comparison, as like when you first saw Ronaldo come to the club. I do believe there are similar traits. I'm not comparing the players. I'm not saying Garnacho is going to go on to do what Ronaldo did in his career, because that's almost impossible. And them kind of players come like every 100 years or whatever. But I'm saying there was comparisons. You look at Garnacho on the right now, especially. Ronaldo started on the right-hand side. I think played the majority of his games on the right-hand side for United. When he first came through, was a little bit greedy. Decision-making at times was questionable. He was in a much better team as well, of course. Don't forget, he had players like Nistelrooy, Keane for a little bit, Giggs, Scholes, Carrick, Rooney, like all these players around him, surrounded by world-class players. Garnacho's in a team at the minute where you're kind of scratching your head and looking for world-class players. So that is on his side. But Ronaldo's trajectory from when he first came in the club, I mean, the guy was basically doubling his output every season. So I can't remember the specific stats. I wish I had a better memory, but I'm pretty sure he had about, I don't know, I think it was like 8 goals and 2 assists, let's say, the first season. Then it was 12 goals and 6 assists. Then it was 20 goals and 8 assists. Then it was just like up and up and up until the Champions League season when he got like 42 goals and 8 assists, like 50 goal involvements. Insane. Won the Ballon d'Or and then fucked off to Madrid. Which, if Garnacho had the same output, literally the same situation would not surprise me if in 4 years' time or 5 years' time Garnacho went to Madrid, because I can see him in a Madrid shirt. I really, really can. Obviously, depending on the winger situation, because they've got the best winger in the world, in my opinion, in Vinicius Jr. They've also got Rodrigo. I know they had links with Mbappe. I don't know what's kind of cooking with that at the moment. So I think Garnacho is going to be an unbelievable player. I think he's got the temperament. He rarely gets injured at all. He's fearless. He has the Man United DNA. For a winger, he's exciting. He gets you off his feet. I'm looking forward to the type of player that he's going to become. But again, you can't water a plant with jizz. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to grow. Wasted jizz at that point. But I'm saying, I don't even know what that means, but I'm just saying you have to water the plant with the right nutrients and water in order for that to grow. And I think the environment at United at the moment with the players that he's surrounded by. Callum's just said, I think you find you can. Well, maybe you can, but I don't think it's going to grow very much. So, yeah. I can see you in a United shirt, but I'm looking at my phone screen. I don't get that. We are crap at the moment. Don't think Jim Ratcliffe will do much for us. I mean, time will tell with that Ineos investment. I don't know. I'm still up in the air about it, the whole kind of situation. I'm not sure how much effect they're going to have, and it's not going to be a quick fix. It's going to be, quite a while before we start seeing real effects. But I think the summer there's going to be some big changes made. I think there's already been changes made behind, closed doors and things like that. And that obviously includes recruitment as well. And that's been another kind of article that's come out today. Manchester United are keeping tabs on former striker Brian Brobert, another Eredivisie striker. Another Eredivisie player. I'm like, I don't know, Malacia, Lissandro, Antony. Amrabat's played in the Eredivisie before, of course, and I think Mason Mount's played in the Eredivisie before. Judging from purely because of the Antony signing, I'm like, I don't want to go back to the Eredivisie shopping. I don't want to go in there. Especially for the prices they're fucking charging. I mean, and you know, Ajax would probably look at it and go, "You want this young striker with potential, 50 mil, 60 mil," when in reality it's probably worth about 30 million quid or something. So I'm not very confident about going back to Ajax to pick up another one of their young talents and get stung for it. I know he's got 8 goals and 4 assists this season in 15 games. 21 years old, powerhouse. Can hold the ball up really, really well, but equally can run in behind as well. But then he moved to Leipzig on loan, I think. Didn't really work out. So there's still question marks around him. I want to bring in a striker who's experienced, who's been there, won trophies, still has top quality, but won't cost you fucking a shitload. Someone with a profile, and I say profile like strongly, because I don't mean this actual player, but if you look at someone like an Alvaro Morata, for example, not saying him as a player, but saying the profile, season, played at Juventus, big teams, Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, won trophies before. I want a player of that kind of ilk, but better talent. Where that lies, I don't know. But I don't want to go get a striker from the Dutch league. Fuck that. Don't want to do it. Player to look at, I'll buy right back from Bayer Leverkusen. You know about Frimpong? Because we have spoken about him before in depth. Top player. Output's insane as well. Transfer decisions have been poor. Sorry, I missed that comment. Glazers won't sell the club fully as they're still milking us. You're probably right. And this is, you know, the situation we're in at the moment in terms of funds. We're struggling, aren't we? We are really, really struggling. I think we heard stories that we're relying on Anthony Martial to fund. I mean, fuck me, how many times have we heard that before? Absolute bullshit, mate. We are relying on Anthony Martial so we can get a striker on loan. Just, you know, you think about Sabitzer pissing Vegas last. It's going to be another Vegas signing. It is going to be another Vegas signing. I am telling you now. And I cannot be arsed with that shit. Because as good as Vegas was in certain ways, maybe opening up for Marcus Rashford, you know, the work rate off the ball and taking up different positions. Maybe in that sense, he was really, really good. But the guy scored like 1 goal and then cried. Like, I don't want another one. I know it probably meant a lot to him. It's great for him to play for Manchester United, and that's fantastic. But I just, if we're going to go get a striker, I mean, even, to be honest, I didn't want Timo Werner, right? But if you look at the options that are out there that we could get on loan, he was probably the best one. And that's saying something. Because Timo Werner, if you want to solve your goal-scoring problems with Timo Werner, that's like trying to put a fire out with petrol. Just absolutely pointless. So, yeah. Right, YouTube comments. Chivy says, Garnacho deserves this award, especially after coming from a bad run of games. A lot is said about his ability as a youngster, but we also have to recognise his mindset. I agree, fully. Ed Barrett says, Ahmad, Garnacho equals starters. Rashford and Antony, decent bench options, but we can get better for the money. Very expensive bench options, Ed. That's the issue. Garnacho is a star, says Rayanator. Has the skill and right mentality compared to a lazy Rashford and awfully dreadful Antony is a breath of fresh air. Oh, well, that's certainly a different take. Don't get the Dutch obsession. Imagine Ange bought half a Celtic to Spurs. They'd be nowhere near. That is a fantastic comment. That's the comment of the day. Imagine Ange bringing all his players over from fucking Celtic. Yeah, don't worry, mate. Yeah, go top. Yeah. Fucking... I couldn't even tell you a player who plays for Celtic right now, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I don't watch the fucking Scottish League, so I couldn't tell you, but yeah, you make a great point. Taremi from Porto has been a name that's been flung around quite a few times. Benzema. Now we're cooking. Send one French player off to where he wants to go. If we can sell Martial to Fenerbahce, sound. Send him off and bring in Karim Benzema for 6 months. Are we all on that? Would we all take Karim Benzema? Yes or no? Comments. TikTok, YouTube. Just for 6 months. I just want to see him in a United shirt. I really think... Imagine Benzema in like a shirt like this. Boss, man. I was actually watching a video on Benzema before, and I don't think that guy gets the credit that he deserves. If you look at the big goals he scored for Real Madrid, I think he's second top goal scorer or third top goal scorer for Real Madrid. He's got the most assists for Real Madrid. And the clutch goals that he scored and the moments that he's produced on the biggest stage, I think he gets no way near the credit. Ed makes a good point that it's going to be expensive, and I take that, but United do expensive, don't it? And if it's only going to be 6 months, will it be worth it bringing in Benzema? I know we have an issue with the supply line with our wingers, and they don't create enough chances. But Benzema's the type of guy, you throw that guy in there, won Champions Leagues. Did he win a World? Did he win a World Cup? I think he was banned for that World Cup, wasn't he? Am I right in saying that? But regardless, La Ligas, Champions Leagues, you're almost getting fucking Madrid's spine from 5 years ago, from 8 years, about 6 years ago. You've got Varane there, Casemiro there, and you bring Benzema on loan. You've literally got Madrid's spine. So we're going to win the Champions League if we bring him in, even though we're not in it. Interesting. Carrick, Arsenal? Who? What's happened to Arsenal? Have I missed something? I don't know. Evening, mate. Andy Bean. Good evening. What a fucking legend. 500 grand, mate. Oh, wow. Is that what they're saying? Fees would be massive, yeah, but if he gets up top 4, I'd pay it. 500 grand a week. What's going on with Benzema in Saudi, though? Obviously, I don't really watch the Saudi league, so I don't just want to kind of speculate, but he's obviously not happy there. I know Jordan Henderson wants to come back after his voyage there to try change Saudi league football, and he's pissed off already. So why is he not happy in Saudi? Is something gone on? Have I missed something? I don't know. I think he'd do that. He's never played in the Premier League before. He's achieved obviously a lot in the game. Why not 6 months, Benzema? 6 months. Come do something. He's getting a lot of abuse from the fans. Oh, really? Interesting. What? I mean, they've got like 5 fans, haven't they? The Saudi league. I saw a stat saying the Saudi league, right? Noise-wise, I think it was noise-wise, has the same decibels as like a League 2 side. And the same capacity for some teams. Like, apart from Al Nassr, because obviously Ronaldo, I've heard a lot of the, a lot of the crowd's pretty shit. The amount of Cope, Yola, Huffing think he'll go to United is 11. I'm not saying he'll go to United, I'm just saying I would take him. There's a difference. I'm realistic. I know the situation. I know United are going to go get someone random on the last day we've never heard of and try spin it like we've been chasing this guy forever. I know for a fact United are going to do that. But I'm saying, tell me right now, if we got offered Karim Benzema on a 6-month loan, forget about financials, would you take it? I know Benzema might turn around and go, I'm not fucking joining United, mate. They're fucking 8th in the league. But I'm saying, if that opportunity came across your desk now, and you was the manager, would you take it? That is the thought I will leave you with. I think he would take a small wage cut to leave Saudi, though, potentially. He's on $1 million a week in Saudi. Oh, man, where these guys have just got money to piss, haven't they? I think Saudi's going to turn into the thingy league. What do you call it? Like the league in China where it just went to shit. I know they've got kind of endless pots of money, so it might be slightly different, but I don't think them kind of leagues are sustainable unless you have grassroots players coming through and genuine academies. I don't. But, I've been wrong before. There's Arsenal fan and Liverpool fan going off in the comment section. Right, what else did I have? I had one last thing that I wanted to discuss. Martial, yes. I did discuss Martial. Martial's agent, apparently, is in Turkey, rounding up a deal. I don't know what the truth is. I really don't know what the truth is in the story, because I've seen conflict. I've seen Luke Kerr say he's staying until the summer. I've seen Chris Wheeler say that he's going to go in January. I don't have a fucking clue what's going on with Martial. Look, if he wants to go, please just let him go so we can get a striker in January. Otherwise, he's just going to be lingering about until the summer and then piss off anyway. So if you're going to get rid of him, you might as well get rid of him now, even if it's at a cut price. I think we bought him initially for 36 million with a Ballon d'Or clause. You're probably only going to get about 7 million quid back. So if you're going to get rid of him, let him fucking go. Let him go. I don't know what Fenerbahce are going to do about his wages, because he's on 250 grand a week, I think, at Manchester United. But it's time for him to go. Let Martial go. Bring Benzema in. Sorted. Big difference. Højlund's got someone to look up to, someone to ask advice off, someone to play with, maybe. Not in that way. And the wingers as well have someone to look towards, that focal point. Just a thought to leave you guys with. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Just a quick news show tonight. We will be back tomorrow for the Spurs preview. We play Tottenham, of course, on Sunday. We'll have the pre-match build-up for that and the post-match after the game. Saturday, as well, there's a load of content going on. So make sure you're subscribing to Real Reds Talk. We're currently on 4,062 subscribers. So if you're watching on TikTok, you aren't subscribed yet, please do click the link in the bio. We're live every single day. We're trying to grow this community. We get amazing guests on. We've got some things in the pipeline that we're working on. And also, if you want to become a member, we dropped 2 members videos this week. One on our current winger situation. We discussed that for about an hour in terms of what we would do, a 10-step plan. And we also dropped another video as well. I can't remember what that members video was. So if you want to become a member, we've currently got 27 members on the channel. It's about £3 a month. Helps support the channel, helps us get amazing guests on, and the community is growing every single day. So click the link in the description or click the join button next to the notification bell. You get exclusive content, a badge Dixney name, and a chance to feature on the show. Legends, every single one of you. If not, please do just subscribe, smash a like in the video. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's weekend tomorrow, remember, so not too depressing. Premier League football's back. United is still shit. See you in a bit. Peace.